everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Dugout.
Hey, Beyond the Dugout.
Welcome.
Great job.
Instagram is Beyond the Dugout Pod.
Yeah.
All one word.
Go follow it. It's right there.
Go follow it.
We're gonna get that in there at the top there.
We're gonna do that. Lucho will be on it.
But yeah, we wanted to be called Beyond the Dugout because we kind of want to, like Lucho has been mentioning at almost every single podcast, just like how we want to talk about what life is after collegiate athletics, and we thought this would be a perfect name for all of us because we are past the dugout now. We are beyond it.
Past our primes.
For the most part.
Past our primes.
50%.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get.
Almost
Not you
arms.
fellas, just
Almost arms.
You're not past your prime either, but
We also have a very exciting episode today.
Special.
We have our first guest. We'll introduce him here in a little bit. But first, let's start off with the bets.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a good game here. What, the Cubs against KC. Obviously, I'm going to take the Chicago Cubs. Big Cubs fan myself. I'll just keep it at that. Cubs are going to win this one.
I like a good underdog story, so I'm gonna go with our guest here today. A little sneak peek, but I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Royals in this game.
Interesting.
Big sneak peek there.
I'm also a big time Cubs fan, so I'm going Cubs all day, baby.
I mean, you never know with the Cubs. You really never know. But I'm gonna go with Cubs too.
Hey.
Let's get it. And I got a Seiya Suzuki home run.
Okay, I got a. Which one's this? The 24?
24.
Let's go Dansby. The 2 bases.
Is Bellinger there?
Yeah.
He's there in this one.
He's there.
Okay, 2+ bases.
2+ bases, Dansby.
Is Bobby Witt on this team?
Yeah.
Ooh, he is.
Bobby Witt anytime double.
Ooh,
Okay.
double.
Okay.
Specifically.
Yeah.
All right.
Ball
Well,
Z.
Always.
All right.
Without further ado, you introduce him.
Me?
Yeah, because you're gonna be heading out. He's gonna be taking your spot.
All
He's taking
right.
off his jacket right now as we speak. I'm nervous. I don't know about you guys. I'm nervous to see it.
Former Missouri S&T minor, more recently UIndy Greyhound, a beautiful man that goes by the name of Dakota Sill.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Let's go.
Swings!
Welcome.
Welcome,
Glad to
Dakota.
have you here.
Happy to be here.
So Dakota actually just hopped off a flight. We have our ring ceremony on Saturday from winning the Super Regional. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, Dakota, and
I'm gonna make a correction. I'm not here for the ring ceremony. I'm here for this.
We texted about this. He said,
I'm actually flying home after this.
He landed
Sorry,
92
I was
hours
supposed
ago.
to-
so just tell us a little bit about yourself and any hobbies, anything that you do on the daily, what's your job and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So first off, I'm going to take the Kansas City Royals.
Oh yeah.
Bobby Witt.
He had to squeeze that in.
Yeah.
Bobby Witt, 1+ stolen bases.
I like that.
That's
Yeah.
not here.
Why not?
But
We
yeah.
gotta move Lucha from that side because he just watches the TV
He does.
all the time.
Like,
let's pay
I
attention. Let's pay attention to our
I'm like
guests
a
right
I am paying
now.
attention.
All right.
I can multitask.
Looks me in the eyes, Lucho. But anyways, yeah, I'm Dakota Sill. I am from Missouri S&T, transferred to UIndy to play my 5th year. Well, actually, just to beat Kevin Durant and win a ring.
Hell yeah.
Ring chase is
Smart.
I was ring chasing, I gotta admit it, but I made some cool friends along the way, and I'm glad to be here. I still coach on the side, so I don't know if that
Hey,
qualifies me as beyond the
What was your
dugout.
major?
he's definitely plugging right now. D-Sill Swings, hit him up if you're in
Yes.
the Omaha
Who's that
area.
Great videos, high quality
D-Sill
drills.
Swings, Yeah.
We'll get into it later on, but fantastic page to go follow.
Great swing philosophy.
Yeah?
I will say.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I
Thanks.
will say.
Good
Thanks.
insight there. That
Thanks.
was very good.
So,
Sorry, go ahead. You're the
no, I was gonna say I actually brought something for you today.
Alright, let's see it. Let's hear it.
It's a conspiracy theory.
Ooh.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright.
Let's hear it.
Came in hot.
See, I told him to bring something. And he brought me something, so let's hear it.
Yeah. So, is the moon landing real?
Oh,
This is where you went to. Oh.
So we had this conversation
Don't get me into
on
this.
occasion in the outfield just to kill time.
You and Caleb?
Lucho was there. I don't know.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I was there. I
I don't know if
I
Lucho
remember that.
contributed a lot, but
I did, kind of.
What's your viewpoint on it?
I'm gonna listen first.
Oh,
To be honest, okay, I'll start. Just because
I'll start.
I heard, or they run the whole video, the whole thing. They run it through like an AI software, and the AI said that it was not real. Like the AI analyzed the whole thing, every single thing, the flag moving, the people walking, all of that, and it says it's not real. So I gotta go with AI. It's fake.
Okay, that's interesting.
I don't think it
I've
happened.
I've never heard of that one though.
Yeah.
Before.
that's not the view I would have taken if it was not real. But I mean, AI. I mean,
I
sure.
mean, also, I guess another thing I would say is like how it's been, how we have been one time in the moon. It's been about like what 60, 70 years.
when what?
Let's have that.
When was it?
And when was the moon landing? What was it? 1970, 1960s?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
It was right after the Cold War. Or during the Cold War, yeah.
how we have and we have way better technology here. Like
Well, you see,
1969.
19 what?
1969.
So I texted him.
See, and nowadays Elon Musk is doing his best to get there, but it's not working.
that's what I'm
Nothing's
saying.
worked. Okay, so for me, this conspiracy is probably the one that gets me in the most trouble, and there's also another one that we won't talk about today. But I don't think that it's real whatsoever. I don't think that it was possible for us to get past the firmament. In the beginning, God created the created the earth, and then He separated the waters, the ones from above and below, the below and above, and then He put a firmament in between those two. And that firmament is impenetrable, and so that just means that it's not possible to even get out of the out into the space area to get to the moon.
So you're saying there is not a space, or there's a space,
There's
but you just
there's-
can't go up.
There's space, but we can't get past the firmament that God has put above us.
Is that restricted to humans?
What do you mean? Like, can angels get there?
Well, there are definitely satellites that have imaged the
Well,
Earth. From
It hasn't gotten past the firmament.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? It's further. It's
Okay.
further. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got you.
Like
Okay.
you could get to the atmosphere,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just looking for interpretation here. So
Yeah.
so what about you, Alex? What do you think? What's your opinion?
I'm not really one for any type of conspiracy theories, honestly. If someone convinces me, that's when I will believe the opposite of what we've been told. So I haven't been convinced yet about it being false.
So you do believe it.
I believe it just because I'm someone that if someone tells me something, if even if it's the government, I just believe it unless there's clear signs.
So you're full.
I mean, I haven't finished my statement yet, but whatever they tell me, I'm gonna believe because that's kind of how we're supposed to be. I'm not saying I'm just like blindly following, which it might sound like it, but
Can I say that I'm very grateful that you grew up in this period in history and not other periods in history?
Yeah.
Because
why is that?
I'll let you think about it after the podcast. Right?
I'm just saying, like, I could see why you guys might think it's false, but like, I just haven't been convinced. But like,
That's fair.
I'm completely open to, because I mean, there's definitely a little bit of signs that it's not true. But until I'm deeply convinced, I'm not going to be taking that stance. If that makes sense. Like, there's definitely some conspiracy theories out there, and I'm glad you brought that one up. I'm glad you brought me that as your gift. After I picked you up from the airport, after a busy long day in the snow.
At least you have the Jeep.
Yeah, 4-wheel drive. But yeah, that's just my standpoint on pretty much all of them. There's other ones I feel more strong about, but not this one. See, that's one. That's probably the one you're talking about.
All right.
Okay, well,
Let's hear your
I'm
thought
gonna
process.
throw my thoughts out there. So the AI thing is very interesting. I can recall on several occasions where I was taking a test at UIndy and I used AI and got the question wrong.
That's what I'm saying. A lot. It's not AI is not 100% right. Just because it said it's not like ooh okay.
No, that doesn't.
Those were open note tests, so he was able to use
I was
AI.
not cheating.
He was not cheating whatsoever.
As relentless in me right now.
I mean, he graduated. He graduated. Who cares? You know.
Yeah. So, but there's some other interesting caveats to this. So, 5 out of the 6 flags that were planted on the moon by the Apollo mission are still there and can be seen.
It can or
Can be seen in photographs and like live images taken by satellites recently. So that's one interesting thing to consider. And also, there are pictures from like 2010s of the footsteps of astronauts on the surface of the moon.
Are those fake?
Oh man,
Like,
there's just so much evidence they can't just make those pictures up. So
I know they could. They really could. I know they could.
The thing about it is that I mean, if we get one of those cards in Mars, I promise you, like they could get one of those cards in the moon that can just put a flag in there, or they can.
That's true. There are moon rovers.
Or they can mimic one of they can mimic anything they want, I guess.
I'll get. So I say I'm definitely leaning towards the fact that it happened, but I'm not 100% convinced.
I'm with
And
you.
that's something, because back like when in the conversations in the outfield, he was 1000% convinced that the moon landing was real.
I'm still.
And he called me
Wow.
stupid. I was done.
Wow. You're maturing.
I have learned since not playing baseball that not everything is so black and white.
Wow. That's beautiful.
So true.
Yeah, you don't need to be 100% convinced on something to believe it.
100%.
I mean, for a fact, we know that there's people in the moon right now. Like for a fact, we know. No,
People?
not in the moon.
They're
Sorry,
just chilling up there.
Wait, hold on. We need to talk about that.
not in the moon. In just in space, in like in a station in space, just sitting like I don't know doing what, but just sitting.
Making a podcast.
What's he calling?
The space station.
Space station. Yeah,
The space station.
for sure. Like that's a fact. Like right now, there's people in space, just sitting there outside of the Earth. I guess.
And they have been there for a very long time.
Can you check how many people are?
I think it's just 2. It's just 2 of them.
Can you also look when the first person, like when the International Space Station was built, and how long those people?
As of January 20th, 2025, so 3 days ago, there are 7 people on the
7.
International Space Station.
Oh my
7, bro.
goodness.
Shout out you, Caleb.
When was it built?
7.
It began in 1998 and was completed in 2011,
Wow.
which is still old.
I think NASA is a fraudulent company. Sorry, I'm just gonna throw it out there.
SpaceX is not though.
SpaceX is legit. I mean, you see Elon at least trying. Like there's videos of the things that he's doing. There's never videos of like what NASA's doing ever.
Right. There's just a bunch of money that you don't even know where it goes.
And
So much money.
and some of our tax dollars goes towards that for no reason. I don't want it to go to NASA. I don't think that we need to explore the space. What do we need to explore space for? We got everything we need right here.
I mean,
I got my boys with me.
I mean, there might be
yeah.
some-
I mean,
Okay.
it'd be something definitely.
So you guys
gotta
believe
look
in
for.
aliens? You guys believe in other beings being out there
I do.
other than us?
I do believe that.
I do.
I do actually.
I don't actually.
Neither do I.
I don't believe in aliens.
I think that
Ask
this
AI.
is just me. This is just me. Like, see, when these
down to it.
conspiracy theories and stuff come up in conversation, I would just take it as at like a spiritual, at a spiritual route. Like God created us, the earth. We're the only perfect beings ever created. Like that's the reason why we have the mind that we have. That's the reason that our legs work the way that do, the way that our arms work the way that we do, and we're the only thing that he created. At least that's what the Bible says. He may have created other things. We don't know. But we know for a fact this is real. And I think the aliens that people think that they're seeing could be angelic beings.
Do you know? I was actually going for that. I heard these the other day that somebody brought the point that if they believe in aliens or not, and they also brought the point of religion and all that, and they said that Jesus may be an alien. Jesus came down to earth and he wasn't part of, like, he wasn't human, so it could be an alien that came down to Earth, I guess.
Well, he was fully God and fully human, so.
I have heard so many different things. Just because I listen to a lot of podcasts, all different
That's why they're
topics.
conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Do you know why humans have such a want to believe conspiracy theories? Like, you hear a conspiracy theory and you're not immediately like, oh, that's crazy. You kind of feel like, oh, that could be true. And people start to believe conspiracy theories when most of them are debunked.
I think we're just bored. I think we're bored.
So, let me ask you this. How many of you, well, I actually know the answer, but how many of you had superstitions playing baseball?
I did. Sometimes. I try to break them, but I did.
Even if they're super tiny, like
Yeah, I would say I had tiny ones. I always took a shower before a game. Like, I felt weird if I went to, like, even practice without taking a shower. And I wear a hat, which is weird.
I mean, yeah.
That's probably
I mean, kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm a little stitious, not superstitious.
okay. So,
I love that quote.
I think that is just us as humans looking to find order and, like, explanation.
Yeah.
For, thinking that we have control over an understanding of what's going on, even though oftentimes we don't.
But, like, the universe is so big, though. The universe is endless.
Yeah, but do you think that Alex taking a shower before a game made him play better?
No, but
Hell no.
that doesn't take out the fact that there could be more life in this universe.
Low-key.
Not in this
low-key
world.
did
In
make
this
him play better.
It's like...
If I went to the field stinky, bro, I'd play stinky.
So, well, I wouldn't say that.
Play good, look good.
I think we should make a
good.
distinction. Because I don't think that aliens are a conspiracy theory. Aliens are just a theory. Conspiracy is like intent of wrongdoing and deception.
Right.
Conspiracy theory. So I think it's a little different. Because then you're just looking for the possibility that there could be life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh man, these conversations.
Wait. Before we go on,
we're gonna go on.
No, I have a question for you.
Okay, I'm listening.
What was the other conspiracy theory that gets you riled up?
I'm not.
We're
not talking about that.
Is it related?
You're gonna have to wait and see for another episode.
Yeah, that's
then
not
you
a
come
good
back
one.
on a flight. Someone else.
All right,
picks you up
is it
and do
related to?
Like the Da Vinci Code?
No.
The movie?
No.
Have you seen that movie?
I have. I think I have.
About Jesus and Mary Magdalene and
I should watch that. I don't think I've ever seen
the Knights Templar and all that stuff.
That
What's
movie's
that?
fire.
What's that conspiracy? Go ahead.
So
I'm interested. I'm sorry.
The alleged conspiracy, which has not been proven false or true. It's just.
What size is that?
There's not enough evidence to support either way. No way. But is that Mary Magdalene and Jesus had a baby and were married.
Oh, I've heard of that before.
And that Jesus' lineage still exists on Earth.
That would be crazy, because then they would be all of his lineage would be divine.
Yeah, and allegedly, like a bunch of European rulers were all like descended from Jesus. Like God kept them in positions of like king and queenship.
Well, I mean, Jesus could have had kids. But me personally, I don't believe that he had kids, but he could have had kids if he did it in the right manner without sinning.
Well, that's the alleged story is that prior to, him dying on the cross, he was married and then had kids.
Yeah.
Is that movie kind of like Angels and Demons?
Haven't seen that one, so.
Oh, it's good.
But if you haven't seen the Da Vinci Code, anyone watching, you should definitely watch it because it's
Plug.
also a really cool movie. So.
All right, I'm gonna watch the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons.
Oh, that's movie's crazy.
Yeah, I've been trying to find movies like about God or like just like in the same realm as that.
It's more the Angels and Demons. It's more about like the Catholic religion and the Pope and all that. And yeah, it's pretty creepy.
All right, let's move past the conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Let's make a transition here. Speaking of transitions, D-Sill.
Wait.
We bounced around a lot there. We went from the moon landing to my showers to the aliens.
Just move on.
The transition we're gonna take is a question for D-Sill here. Obviously, we mentioned you went to Missouri S&T. How was that transition like going from there to a winning school at the University of Indianapolis, D-Sill? More winning school.
I want it to be known that at my time at Missouri S&T, I think I was one game over 500. That would make me a winning. Make it a winning,
absolutely,
winning
and
team.
no shots taken. When I was a player, and obviously we weren't very good either. But
Yeah, I'll say so. Yeah.
yeah. But what was that transition like for you?
Oh man, so let's see. It was definitely a little nerve-wracking playing 4 years at one place and then joining a bunch of people that have been together for so long. But I would say that the hardest part was the difference in culture there, in that at Missouri S&T, it was definitely not about baseball.
Like team culture, or you mean like
As a whole?
as a whole?
Team culture, like just the baseball culture,
That's
like
it.
including
Gotcha.
coaches.
Just to preface this whole story, Missouri S&T and University of Indianapolis are both Division II colleges in the NCAA, and they're both in the same conference, the GLVC, the Great Lakes Valley Conference.
Yes, and we played UIndy almost every year, so there's some history there.
Shout out Doug Wood, my favorite player to ever watch play baseball.
Shout out Zach Williams.
Bat flip down
bat flip.
what? 15, 12, 10? Something bad, but
Insert clip.
Insert clip there. Yeah. But I would say the difference in culture is definitely the biggest thing. At Missouri S&T is super rigid and strict. If you weren't at practice an hour early, that was on time, and then you should be there earlier than that for early work.
yeah.
And like if you were late, you were running like every day. Like every practice, like our coaches in our ear, like get it right, trying to keep it PG. But I mean, it was intense, and at times it felt like military boot camp in a way, and that's kind of how we approach things.
Yeah,
So
not baseball. It sounds like boot camp instead of baseball.
yeah, I mean, but when you go through 4 years of that, and then you switch to Indy, and it's definitely more relaxed, but more focused on like enjoying the game and like having fun. At first, I think it was really difficult for me because I was so used to having that structure, and through like the fall and the beginning of the season, I really struggled with no one being in my ear like yelling at me, like, "What are you doing?"
So you like that? No, you were used to it,
Used
I
to it
guess.
for 4 years.
You're
So-
just used to it.
Well, I wouldn't say I like that. I think there's pros and cons
Yeah.
to both. I don't want to say it's like all good and all bad, but it took me the transition itself took me a long time because it took me a while to get used to like, I don't need to worry about whether or not I'm going to play tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like if you had 2 bad games in a row at S&T, like you're probably getting, you're going to get benched. But here
Yeah,
it was
for sure.
it was a lot more relaxed, which at the end of the year I really enjoyed and kind of came to like fall in love with because I got back to just playing the game. You know what I mean? And so it was a tough transition, but much needed. Kind of helped me fall in love with baseball again.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. That's great. I guess me and Lucho at JUCO, we had a coach that, like you mentioned, if you had a couple bad games, maybe Luis can attest to a little bit more, but like if someone, let's say, we had a really, really talented team at our junior college, and if you had a couple bad games, like you mentioned 2 or 3, that man was in your ear, and you probably weren't going to see the field
Non-stop.
for 2 weeks.
Literally.
And then when you saw the field 2 weeks later and you don't perform, you're not going to see the field for 2 more weeks, and there's your month. There's half the season. There's a third of the season. So, I mean, playing free, that's awesome. I didn't even know that. That's great to hear.
That's just interesting because, like, I was blessed enough to like play all of the years like I was at UIndy, and I feel like there's pros and cons to that too because, like, when you look over at like your guys' situations before UIndy, there was guys that got chances because you weren't performing. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm not performing at UIndy, like you said, I didn't really have to worry about if I was going to be put in the lineup. Mm-hmm. There was only one time that I felt like, oh my gosh, like this might be bad. Mm-hmm. And I got pulled out of a game, but then I was in the back in the lineup the next day because they knew what I could do. Mm-hmm. But it kind of sucks because like there's so many other talented people out there that could fill in the gap that I did or anybody did inside the lineup for us, but never got the shot because they put their trust in guys like me or guys like you, Vela, or like you, Dakota, or you, Lucho, at the end of the year, like you were in the lineup, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. You got the chance and you proved yourself at the end of the year. So that's like your story to tell on that end of like, oh, like so many other people got their opportunity and then they didn't give you one, and then you finally got it and you proved them like, oh, like if you put me in the lineup, I'm gonna show you that I can perform. You know? So like it's a teeter totter because it's like, dang, like this guy's really good, like he's good for the team, but oh, he's not playing well, like let's give this other kid a chance. He might perform too. You know, so I don't know. It's a hard cycle.
Absolutely. I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, I was gracious enough to be able to play at UIndy. When I'm going to ask you this question too, but I obviously came from the JUCO, and all my junior college coaches would tell me like, man, you're going to be the guy at UIndy. You're going to be the shortstop. You don't got to worry about anything. That really wasn't in the back of my mind. I was still working super hard. Like I was a freshman. That's why I consider myself a freshman, like Caleb and Will, and that's why I hung out with them, because they were grinding. And the guys in my position that I don't even know why they thought they really had the spot locked down in the fall, I was working out with them because they were hungry for that spot. And I don't know if you came in that way for Missouri S&T. Obviously, you played 4 years, and you were fantastic. I mean, I don't even know how many stolen bases you had at S&T, but did you break the school record at all? I mean, you probably were close to it, but when coming to UIndy, was that kind of in the back of your mind, like, hey, I got to work for my spot? Or...
Yeah, before we get to that question really quick, I just want to, like, mention, like, me knowing that I was going to be in the starting lineup never stopped me from working. Like,
absolutely.
I worked my tail off every single year because I worked out like somebody was going to take my spot.
Yeah,
like
that's
I
why
was.
those people kept it.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's kudos to like everybody that does that, because that's how you keep your spot. You don't keep your spot by just being like, oh, I'm the man, like I don't have to do this stuff. No, you take every rep serious. You go upstairs and get extra work in every single day, because you know at the end of the day your spot isn't guaranteed, and you want to be better for your team, your teammates.
I mean, that's also a little like coming back from my perspective a little bit. Like I praise myself also for being a really hard worker my entire baseball career. And that's also a lot, like that's also part of like the frustration of like that coming into all this hard work, and like, you know, you're doing a lot more stuff than probably other people, and that doesn't mean anything, obviously, but knowing that you're doing all of that and you could be doing more, but you're not there just because they have their guy, kind of like type of deal. So you know that in teams like with the philosophy that you used to have in S&T, you know that you had that opportunity right in front of you. Like they will like appreciate it more, I guess. You know, or see it more, because they will give you an opportunity of somebody struggling, and it's just like it's just kind of like I'll see it kind of like a basketball rotation type of thing. Just
Like
whoever
subbing
like
in.
there is one thing that I used to I still take from my junior college coach, and he would like say that like the 9 players in this lineup, it's not about having the best 9, but having the 9 best players. Like the ones that actually want to be there, the ones that actually not the talent, not anything else, but like who's going to be there and do their job. That's about it.
Yeah, so a lot to unpack there, but I'll start with what you said about. So at S&T, it obviously like you want to win games, right? And that's always the focus, but Coach DeGraffenried was not afraid to take someone out of the lineup for having the wrong. You know, he would much rather put a less talented player in that wants to be there than put in someone that, you know, maybe isn't putting the work in at practice. Like if you're working your tail off, you absolutely will get a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't matter, even if the guy in front of you is performing. You know what I mean? Like there was times where I could be hitting well, but there was another kid that had been working his butt off at practice, and he felt like he deserved a chance too. So I would get taken out. And it had nothing to do with what I did. It was all about there was no sense of favoritism. Does that make sense? And that was a humbling thing, but also it does put a lot of stress on you in a game that's so mental. You know what I mean? But it encourages you to it encourages you to work hard. But I don't think that was ever a problem there because we were pushed so hard. You didn't really have an option not to work hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was one of the biggest things that changed coming to UIndy. And so this kind of leads me to what you were talking about, how when you're a starter and was still being encouraged to work. When I first got here, I don't think that was ever a problem for me because I had always worked so hard that I took like a breath of fresh air and I was like, oh, this is kind of nice, not being pushed so hard. But then I was like, oh, this isn't right. I felt wrong not working hard. But at Indy, I worked for a different reason, and that was because every day it was harped that, we're going to a national championship. And that's why I came, and I knew that going from a 500 team to playing in a national championship, like I had to be better. And I wasn't going to be they brought me in here, gave me a scholarship. Like I wasn't going to be the person that didn't do what I was supposed to do. So it was that. And also I think I just started having fun. And I just wanted to be better because I was having fun. Like I fell in love, when you're not being forced to go through the grind, you can optionally go do it. And I spent more time in the cage that last year than I did my entire career at S&T. Like I'm pretty sure I slept on the hit tracks machine. So,
well, that's fun. That's fun.
That's awesome.
Do you think that all of that stuff, like the last year, do you improve a lot better than at S&T just because you were like concentrating on yourself, like whatever you were doing, instead of like thinking about all the BS that you had to go through because of the coaches, kind of?
So I would say that statistically, no. My best year was my last year at S&T. But in terms of the impact that I had on my teammates and the work ethic that I could demonstrate, that like this is what it requires to be in our lineup. This is what it requires to, like, the grind. It's not always going to come easy, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like I struggled to start the year, and I wasn't just going to sit there and take that, like I was going to grind through that and be a contributor. And I think that I was a better person and baseball player. It may not have shown on the statistics, but towards the end of the year, when I finally like let go of it, there's a fine line there, right? And I think we've talked about it a few times, like calling it the Superdome, where you're concerned way too much about your swing and all those individual aspects instead of just going out there and competing.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was a balance that I had to figure out. I definitely worked harder than I ever had, and because of that, I was on the wrong side of that scale for a long time. But as soon as you let go and let the work play instead of like trying to force it, then definitely I was better. The best I've ever been in my career was at the end of the season at UIndy.
Yeah, so like that forcing part is really important. Like you're trying to force outcomes and just instead of allowing the outcomes to come based off the work that you already put in. Kind of walk us through that a little bit more. So to give everybody just like a dive into the season last year, Dakota I wouldn't say struggled because you were still really good. Like you were still really good for us throughout the whole regular season, but when it hit postseason, something turned on for this man. Kind of walk us through that transition from, I guess not really transition, but like that mental space that you were in the regular season compared to going into conference tournament, regionals, super regionals, and then even into the World Series.
Yeah, so in the fall, I think I performed really well in the fall, and because of that, I was like, oh, this is going to be my year. I'd always felt through my whole college career that I had left on the table. I had more that I could provide, and I spent a lot of time studying. I'm an engineer, by the way. That is probably going to be important to this conversation, but I really like the science behind hitting, and I spent a lot of time studying that and trying to apply that to myself and helping other people with that too. But because of all the everything that I had learned and all my experiences and the fact that I had, great players around me that were better than I was, I thought that I could take some of that and really make it happen this year. And the thought of like making it happen and this is going to be my best year yet. I had these expectations in my head that I had to live up to this standard or, I hadn't done enough. And I fought that all year. And when, you start the year off, you can have those expectations and you can still get lucky. But more often than not, over time, with expectations like that, you're going to perform worse than what you can. And I did. And then you add the fact that you're not performing even to what you were before to the fact that you have these super high expectations, and it's like a mental spiral downhill, and it's really hard to deal with. And I struggled with that for a long time, and I'm going to give myself grace, but the fact that I did as well as I did fighting that mental struggle, I think kind of speaks to what you were saying. That's how I knew I got better. That's how I knew I was better, because if I had faced that same stress and mental struggle that I put on myself earlier in my career, there's no way I would have been in a lineup or still competing at the level that I was while doing that to myself.
That's awesome, man. But
at some point in the season, I think it was like the switch flipped that I'm not going to get that much better. You know what I mean? I kept chasing this big thing that I thought I could be. And at some point I was like, it's the postseason now. It's not going to happen for me anymore. It's too late in my career. So either I just go out and try to enjoy that while I can, or I hate that I did this for the rest of my life. I'm going to regret that. So
somebody got hurt.
Oh no, not the Royals.
Lucho's really messing this game.
Not good.
Somebody got hurt. It's an injury.
I just think that letting go and sitting back and being like, man, I'm playing postseason baseball right now with guys that I've made incredible friendships with in less than a year. I love these people, and I really am starting to love baseball. And yeah, I don't have a lot of time left, but I can enjoy these last couple moments while I can, and then quit trying to be that person and then just finally be who I am.
It's just type of I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm just gonna live.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, all right, why am I trying to be like Dakota Sill plus when
I could just be
I've worked hard enough to where Dakota Sill is good enough.
Good enough.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And as soon as I accepted that, it was like, oh, I was a whole different player. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's
beautiful.
That's the snippet right there.
Dakota Sill was a fantastic ball player. So
Yeah,
Dakota
he was
Sill
fun to play with. Fun to play with.
I want to make one more comment on that though, and I've been thinking a lot about this recently. I think as a coach for me, and especially just as a former athlete, right? It's really easy to go back and be like, man, I wish I knew what I knew now, and I could go back and change it. You know what I mean? In that scenario, I wish I would have just let go earlier in the season, and I would have had that best season ever. But that's an illogical way of thinking about it, because you had to go through what you go through in order to have the moments that you have.
That's sick.
You know what I mean? If
awesome.
You can't think retroactively.
You wouldn't have been able to let go if you didn't enter the...
Exactly.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to experience what you were supposed to experience if you did not do what you did in the past to get you to where you are today.
That's just
fire,
life,
bro.
That's just life
That's very
right there.
fire, man.
Yeah.
That is love.
That is just life.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. You just mentioned that you're a coach now.
D-Sill _ Swings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Say
Now
it
I'm
again.
now I'm gonna plug myself.
Yeah,
D-Sill SILL _ Swings.
Don't
Golf too.
Oh,
I do
you post golf too?
Yeah, I do
need
coach
you.
golf.
I
You'll
need
be watching.
me and you have to have a talk after that.
So I'll give a quick snippet about the golf thing. Like the second week in Omaha, I was at the driving range and I'm talking to this guy, and like he was just right next to me and he's striping balls, and I'm like, yo, like I just didn't have any friends there, so I'm like, hey, you want to be my friend? Like straight up, that's what I asked.
That's
the
what
guy.
you said?
I asked the guy, I was like, yo, you want to be my
He
friend?
probably looked at you.
It's a bold
This
strategy.
weirdo.
No, that's exactly
Bold
that's
strategy.
exactly what I was expecting. But he was like, "Yeah, sure," and we got to know him, and he is actually a professional golfer.
Oh,
No.
wow.
What?
And
cool.
Wow.
so we just go to the range every once in a while, and he's helping me, and I'm watching him swing, and I just noticed like there was this one weird thing he kept doing with his legs, and you could kind of see it, like he would come up out of his legs. Like we talk about it all the time in baseball, but there's not a lot in golf about the way that you use your legs in the swing. And so I just asked him, like I wasn't gonna say like, hey dude, you're doing this wrong. I'm but hey, have you ever like paid attention to what your legs are doing in your swing? And I'm not trying to like take credit for it, but I gave him a few, like I just asked him like, hey, have you paid attention to this? And ever since he's played lights out, he's made a bunch of money playing tournaments.
So he's like a PGA type of deal.
He's not on the PGA. He's on like basically the minor leagues of.
He's like me. He's like me going to play in the Pioneer League.
Yeah, he's
I
like an
bet,
independent ball basically. But
That's crazy, dude.
Making money though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, and so
Any commission for that?
Yeah, did you get some?
Yeah, exactly. You're the coach.
no, absolutely not. We had talked about this recently actually, and he said, you know, the reason that he thinks that I was so helpful to him is because, you know, there's 800 golf coaches, right? And they all have their philosophy on the swing and how the swing should look. I know nothing about golf. Like, absolutely nothing. I don't know how it should look. I don't know what it should look like. And it was the fact that I didn't know anything. I just asked questions about things that I thought were interesting that was so helpful to him. So that transitions into coaching because there's a lot of comments there. But
That's pretty
yeah.
sick, man.
Absolutely.
That's
What are you
unreal.
working on, like baseball-wise, coaching? Do you have like a special kid, or do you have like a bunch of kids, or
like a kid on the short bus, or
Do you? I've worked with one of those individuals.
One of those is crazy, bro. We're already canceled and we're not even
Wait,
able
did I
to.
say one of those?
We're already. Don't lie, bro.
I've worked with a lot of special kids, close to my heart, and all of them are, you know.
was I one of them?
No, actually, one time. This is crazy.
Why would you even bring that up, dude?
Me? Yeah. We were talking about before.
You did ask me if I had a special kid.
I've
No.
worked with
All
lots
I
of-
said is, are you working with somebody right now? Like
This is not what he said.
I
Are you
said,
working with a
okay,
special
you didn't let me finish. You
Working
didn't,
like a
say,
special
you didn't
kid,
let me
or-
finish. I said, are you working with somebody right
Which
now?
I said,
Like
do
a
they ride
special
short
kid,
bus?
like a special kid or something. You were like, oh yeah, the short bus. Hey.
That's what I thought you meant too. I was like, what kind of question is that?
That was a
Gosh.
special question, man.
But D-Sill, I'm glad you're a coach now. Obviously, you made D-Sill Swings, D-Sill _ Swings. What month was that? That was in the that wasn't even in the season yet. It
Would
was
have been,
before.
I think, December.
Okay, I'm glad you made that page. Obviously, it was a big chant in the dugout. People love saying D-Sill Swings, and I wrote it on your little lunches too because I was a food guy. I love doing that type of stuff. But I'm glad you went to coaching. I think what Lucha meant to ask was, do you work with multiple kids, and are any of those kids I don't want to say special.
Just take a special power
No
out.
special. Do you have a favorite kid that's not special or special?
It's like you give more time to a kid that
Needs it.
could be in high school or whatever, and
That's
you
just
work with him a lot, like whatever.
that's just a terrible question because this is going on the internet. So let's just skip past that question.
I'll answer that question.
How many people do you work with, and Do you treat the younger ones different than the older ones, like in workload wise?
I didn't mean it like a special kid. What?
Who do
You guys are taking
Who do you
this
work with?
way out of hand.
That's what we meant to ask.
Way
So
out
my
of
most
hand.
special kid.
Who do you work with?
Oh my!
I mean, do you work with high schoolers,
bro? This
younger
is
kids,
crazy, bro.
age
Okay,
group?
so when I first moved to Omaha, I was doing probably 30 kids a week,
Oh my goodness!
and I had never given a hitting lesson before, so that was pretty. It was overwhelming to jump in that quickly.
Hour long hitting lesson? Was that how long it was?
Yeah, I mean it
Slow hour, huh?
depends.
The first one.
So the first like 2 or 3 weeks that I was giving lessons, they flew by, and then there are definitely the kids that want to be there and want to get better, and those kids are phenomenal to work with.
Hour flies by.
Yeah, and then you have the kids that are not so nice to work with. You have a few kids that will cry or get super upset when they can't get it right. I mean, or just don't want to be there at all. And
Babysitting, man.
that is babysitting, and it is not a lot of fun. So I have since cut down, since I started working full time. I'm down to like 6 to 8 a week, and I kind of pick and choose the ones that I want to work with. So they are more special, I guess, if you want to put it that way, Lucho.
They sound special.
To answer your question, yes, I do treat the younger kids much differently than the older kids, because the younger kids, especially if they haven't been coached, are usually pretty good. You know what I mean? Like when you were a kid, before anybody touched your swing, you probably had a pretty good swing just naturally, because you move the bat and that's how your body wants to do it. So it fits for your body. So a lot of things that I do with younger kids are maybe cleaning up little things and then doing more like core stabilization and just trying to use the whole body when we're swinging. I like the older kids more because I can really get down in the weeds of working on little things and seeing kind of tangible improvements throughout the lesson. There's one kid in particular that's pretty special, Lucho.
Good.
And I've been working with him since I started. He's in high school. And when we first started working together, he was definitely really raw, like just no coaching, besides maybe a few high school coaches. And I wanted to help him find somewhere to play. And I told him, I'm like, look, I think you should look at some smaller D2s and maybe some smaller JUCOs around Nebraska. And, I didn't know how well he would grow into what we were working on. And since then, I mean, he is just absolutely taken off. I work with him multiple times a week because he grasps what we do really well. And I am a full believer that I think, if he doesn't start at JUCO and then go D1, I think he could be a D1 ball player.
That's amazing.
So, seeing his growth has been really cool.
Yeah.
Seems pretty special. I'm glad you shared that. Sorry, Lucho. I just had to.
Just get over it.
I'm over it. No, it sounded special. That's great, though. That's great.
How's it feel? Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
How you feel about, I was thinking that the other day. I remember that you told us that you turned down a pretty big job within your professional path of engineering just to start coaching.
Wait, what?
You
that
turned
true?
down a job,
That's not true.
or I don't know if you did.
To play at UIndy.
No. Oh, to play at UIndy. I thought it was to start coaching.
He didn't turn it down though. He just
Yeah.
postponed it.
Okay.
Right?
Well, so the short story is, my last year at S&T, we have career fairs every fall and spring, and it's pretty hard. Most people get a job when they go to the career fair, and I had a couple jobs at the career fair that I was really interested in, and I decided that I wanted to play again, and I turned down those jobs to play again. In the summer following my senior year at S&T, well, I entered the transfer portal in like January, which is before it opens to the majority of people, but you can enter early when you're a grad transfer. And because of that, I was on the very first page of the transfer portal, or well, the last page. And this was the year that the transfer portal really opened up. And so I didn't get a call from anybody, not a single coach, actually. And so it got like halfway through the summer, and I just didn't really know if I wanted to go back to S&T. So I started looking for a job, and I think it was July 4th, and Cornwell sent me a DM on Twitter and was like, "Hey, are you still in the transfer portal?" And I was like, "Yeah, but dude, like I've kind of given up on this. Like I think I want to go get a job, because it had been so long and no one had said anything to me." He's like, "You should just let me call you and hear me out. Like you don't have to, like no strings or anything." And he talked to me, you know how Cornwell is. He talked to me for like 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
And
Cornwell is our assistant coach at the University of Indianapolis.
he's the head recruiter. Let's put it that way.
Yes,
But he talked to me for like 3 hours, and I was like, dude, I started applying for jobs, and I've got this thing going through with the job that I was really excited about. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to happen. And I ended up getting that job. And then Cornwell gave me an offer, and I was like, now I don't know what to do. And luckily, the job let me go to UIndy for a year and then start. So I got really lucky in that scenario.
Yeah.
So you're at that job right now?
And now I work there. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
making good money, making
Cornwell
big boy money.
DMs. Wow.
Cornwell did slide into the DMs.
You still have the messages and everything?
I doubt it.
So you were inside the transfer portal. None of us have ever felt that before, I don't think, right?
I was.
Oh, I guess you were, yeah, because you came in from
I wasn't.
But you kind of already knew your path, though. You kind of already knew that you were coming to UIndy.
Right, I knew that.
As somebody that was in the transfer portal, not getting any types of looks or anything like that, like what advice would you give somebody going through that type of struggle right now? Knowing that they want to play.
So I would say, well, for one, I think the hardest part was feeling like, man, maybe I wasn't as good as I thought, Because the other thing for me is, like, I wanted to go somewhere where there was a chance to, like, play for something. I wanted to play postseason baseball. I had never, I played in the GLVC tournament, but we went 2-0 both years I was there, and it never felt like we really had a chance. So I wanted to play in something meaningful. So I would say, and the problem with that is no one was reaching out to me, so I just thought maybe no one was interested. And looking back on it, that was the year that there was 10,000 kids in the transfer portal. I should have been more proactive with what I was doing, and absolutely encourage it. It should be just like high school. Absolutely encourage anyone in that situation to be more proactive and go get what you want instead of waiting for it to come to you.
Like kind of emailing
Absolutely.
coaches and
I should have,
or whatever.
I should have been reaching out, and that's 100% on me. So,
Gotcha.
I'm sorry for keep on going with this conversation a little bit, but you said something that kind of stood out to me. You said you made it to the GOVC tournament twice, and you were 2-0 both times that you went into the GOVC tournament. Mm-hmm. And you said that you wanted to play for something that was actually meaningful.
Yeah. And
that would be the NCAA tournament. Kind of talk about, like, what the NCAA tournament means, like, for you. And all of us can kind of dive into this a little bit. Just like I don't think that people understand how cool it is to have a blessing to play at an NCAA like institution and make it to like a regional site or a super regional site, or even like obviously like we did to the national championship site. Kind of just go through that a little bit.
So I think the biggest testament to something like that is that when you're a kid growing up, right, you play in baseball tournaments, and everybody makes it to the bracket. And if they don't, you've played in brackets before. You've played in Sunday brackets. In high school, you might make it to the playoff tournament, but everybody makes it. Everyone starts in a bracket and has a chance to play. But the thing about the NCAA is this, for a lot of us, it's what we've worked our whole lives to do. Obviously, we went to school and I wanted to be an engineer and I pursued that, but I played 18 years of baseball and worked my butt off to play college baseball. And the epitome of college baseball is playing in the postseason. I don't know exactly how many D2 baseball teams. I think there's 300 maybe. And 64 of them? It might be less, maybe 40, 50 of
68, 64. How many Division II schools are there, and how many baseball teams make it to the tournament? I think it's 64.
Yeah, but so anyways, that is the epitome, right? Half if not more than half of the teams play in the conference tournament. You have to be a 500 team to play in the conference tournament.
Right.
But in order to make the NCAA tournament, you have to be great. And every every level after that, you have to be greater, and
we have the answers.
There are
Let's hear it.
303 Division II schools.
303
okay.
Division II schools.
56 teams in the whole country made it to the NCAA regional.
Right.
56
Wow.
teams.
Yeah, and then obviously you have super regionals. That's 16. You know what I mean? And
Wild.
yeah, that's less than 5%. So that is just to be able to say that you were in the top 5% of teams, and then go on to carry, where it's even smaller margins than that. It means that you were part of something outside of yourself. You know what I mean? You were part of something great with a group of great people, and you also got kind of lucky because there's luck involved, I would say, and you worked your butt off with this group of people all year and won enough games to go on to win and to play in the postseason. The journey leading up to that speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys have anything to add on to that?
I don't know. What did it feel like the first time you were in Cary, and even after you guys had lost, right? Looking back on what that season meant, and how much different was that than the season prior?
Completely. I feel like, for me, I'm just a big believer in whatever you work for, that's what you're gonna get. And I feel like the core group of guys that were on the University of Indianapolis baseball team, we worked so hard. We wanted to win so bad, and we just added the missing puzzle pieces. And those guys worked hard too. And honestly, the first year was really kind of crazy. To look back on, everybody says that it could be a movie. It legitimately could be a movie. Mm-hmm. The amount of struggles that we went through, the adversity that we overcame, looking back on that, that's what made the season. Mm-hmm. Not making it to the postseason, not making it to the World Series, but those trials that we faced together as a team, as a family, and we overcame them and got that far. That's what made. Looking back on that, that's what made that season so special to me. But the NCAA is so special. I work there now, but it's so special for guys like us. No, yeah, it is a little bit biased, but it's so special for
Some brownie points.
for Division II, Division III athletes. It truly is. The people that are not going for a paycheck. You know what I mean? Nowadays with NIL and stuff, we weren't getting paid at UIndy. Mm-hmm. We were there to play.
We have to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
we were there to play the game that we love, and those regional games, those super regional games, like nothing could ever top that for us, except for winning the national championship. And I think that we could have, in some alternate reality, like could have done some things a little bit differently to win. I think our team was good enough to do that. And that was just like, looking back on that season now, like, I mean, just so much fun. Like, so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, so there's something to be said for, right, baseball's hard, right? I'm sure we would argue it's the hardest game there is. And not only that, but it's a long, grueling season, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a hard season, especially to stay healthy. I mean, you're fighting through things that you can't even imagine when you're not, an athlete. And to do that and to win,
It's a crazy feeling.
it's crazy. I mean,
Special.
there's nothing. I'll tell you what. At S&T, we had swept teams and we had beaten teams that we weren't supposed to beat, and it was cool. But I'll never forget the time that we struggled to start the season last year, and similar to how I went through my struggles as a player, I think we did the same thing as a team, where we had these expectations of who we should be, and instead of just being the Greyhounds, we tried to be a 50-0 team, and didn't just be ourselves and kind of let that take care of business. And it wasn't until we played Missouri S&T where we kind of just like
It clicked.
Yeah, I mean, we just straight kicked ass.
We shit on them.
Yeah, we kicked
shit on
ass.
them.
And
You shit on them.
Yeah, you showed
You
them
showed
big
them no
time.
family love.
I did not show them
you
any
barely
family
got
love.
out.
Well,
That's when something switched with you. You went crazy.
so
Nuts.
You were like 8 for 8 or something like that.
I don't know. It was good.
That was a fun weekend.
It was very
But-
fun. It was cold too.
was cold.
We got on the bus after that, and we got Longhorn.
Longhorn Steakhouse. That chicken
Thanks,
was
Coach
good.
B.
Gotcha.
Sitting on the bus,
On the bus was fantastic.
and someone played the song Troubadour, and we sang the song on the bus. We celebrated the win, and to know that you've worked so hard, and then you accomplish, and then you get to enjoy that. You can't ask for anything else in life. I mean, that is when I look back on my life, I know that the moments like that are going to be the ones that I'm like, wow, that was, I contributed to that, and I enjoyed that with great friends.
It was a good moment.
I remember
Make a picture of that moment, literally.
I remember
Great.
one time you weren't here. It was my first year. It was my first year here, and you guys were playing. I wasn't eligible to play that year, but I remember we were playing Quincy, and we were playing a 4. It was just regular season, so we were playing 4 games. We lost the first game against Quincy. We were playing at Quincy. Lost the first game. We got yelled at by the coaches.
We got shit on.
We got shit on that game.
Windy. It was windy.
The day after that, we beat them twice, and then we ended up beating them the next day. That was the best feeling I have felt, and I wasn't even playing. Just seeing you guys just beat the shit out of them was one of the best feelings I had could experience. And
Awesome.
that would leave, even if I was playing, I was only able to play. It just felt great. Seeing you guys beat, that was quote unquote one of the best teams at that point. And I don't know, that was a great feeling.
It's kind of what you said with the
I
S&T
think-
things.
Yeah, so
We
I
didn't
think
expect to beat them.
I think it's kind of come to me as we've talked about this, what is the difference? And the difference is that when I was at S&T, it was really easy to dissociate yourself from the outcome of the game, because no matter how hard we tried, it felt like we were still going to go 500. Maybe we would win 5 more games, but it felt like it was a foregone conclusion unless we got really lucky that we would win the conference tournament and go to the postseason. But at Indy the last year, you cared because you knew it was a possibility, right? You knew that you had the chance to do it, and because that's a possibility and you care, it means so much more to you.
Absolutely.
It's really easy to let go when your team's not very good.
Yeah.
Like to be like, I don't care that we're losing, because we do that as humans, like
Yeah, for sure.
to ease it. But when it's there, right, and it's a possibility that you could win it all, and you do win, or even you lose, you feel it so much more.
Absolutely. Winning is the best feeling in the world, especially when you're winning with guys that you love.
Yeah,
No doubt about it.
and losing when you know you're good enough to win
Absolutely.
is the worst feeling in the world.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'll say about our team. Like, we won and we lost together.
Mm-hmm.
We truly did. Well, Dakota, we thank you so much for being on the podcast, and I think that like this conversation is going to affect somebody in like such a positive way. Like if people actually tune in and listen and take the pointers that you gave, and just like the conversation that we had, like I feel like you hit everything on the head for sure.
We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah. So I
Thanks
guess
for flying out.
Yeah. Closing remarks. Everyone always says like you build a mountain by starting with one stone, and you do the same thing when you influence people. Like I get what you guys are trying to do. You want to give somebody something, a nugget of positivity, or make them feel good about something, and
Special.
And your guys' first stone is me. I mean, it's been a blessing being here, and I feel great talking about it with you guys, and I'm super glad that I was part of it. So, if nothing else, if no one ever listens to it, you guys made my day. So
That's love, brother.
We appreciate that.
All right, let's check out the stats behind us. What do we have?
It's the last inning.
Oh, it's not over.
I guess we could take some fun questions here
Oh,
for the users that have stayed
it's not
here.
over.
it is we got
We got one out left.
We got good baseball here.
we got 2 outs going first.
I got a fun question
fun
for
question.
All right,
boys.
what's up?
Let's hear what we got.
you. What's about the Rubik's Cube? Like, why are you so obsessed with Rubik's Cube?
So, I want to say that I like puzzles, and I used to, but I think that at some point it just became like I'm a weird engineer that I feel like I need to be able
Like,
to do
literally,
Rubik's
I
Cube.
went to your apartment, I remember this, and you have every single possible Rubik's Cube invented. You have all the, there's, 3x3, 4x4. There is, circles. There is, triangles,
Yep.
anything you can think of.
So, like I said, at one point, I really, especially when I was younger, I really liked the puzzles, right? The challenges behind that. It's 0-2. I feel like we got to watch this pitch.
See you later.
Okay.
Ball.
Well,
Clap 'em up.
anyways, I like mental challenges. It's been important to me for a long time.
Bad boy, bad boy, bad boy,
Foul ball.
bad boy, bad boy, bad boy.
Oh my god.
Why do you run
And the Cubs.
And the Cubs win. Go Cubs, go.
All right.
But anyways,
Yeah.
I think over time it was just like I really like to embrace that nerdy side of myself.
You're a weirdo. I got a weird question.
I'm a weirdo.
Here's my weird question. People that don't know you, they don't know you're unorthodox hitting, whatever it may come. You use construction gloves for your batting gloves. I think I asked you, but I don't remember the answer. I want you to tell the audience, the viewers, all, whoever views this, why did you do that?
So at first it was really my batting gloves ripped and I didn't have any money and they were like $3.
Wow.
But then I think over time I kind of realized like that's just who I was as a player. I was a pretty scrappy guy and just like to that's just how I played.
Do you encourage that to your special
Your special
kids?
say, hey, use the construction gloves.
I've never endorsed anybody else using construction gloves.
Did it help you?
Um,
Would normal batting gloves be the same thing? Was it something clicked?
I think over time it's kind of like a mental thing. It's just
Superstition.
like, not that I'm it was just like, oh, this is who I am, you know. Like it's
This is
scrappy.
me.
How was that in the winter though? They were just like solid, like rock solid.
Did you keep them warm?
They're not. They're leather. They're not any different
The
than
$3
normal
though.
batting gloves.
$3.
Do you realize your batting gloves are probably cost $6 to make, but they sell them for $50?
I went bare hand sometimes.
Do you think the Bruce balls are like what?
The Bruce bolts are literally what his gloves are made out of.
Made out of the same leather.
Yeah.
Bright yellow gloves?
Deer
I love
skin.
it though. I dig
I
it.
get it.
It's awesome. Weird. You got anything weird?
I got an interesting question to ask you. Who was your favorite UIndy baseball player to play with, and why?
No one here.
Yeah, nobody here. Yeah.
Nobody here.
You could do someone here. I was just being funny. I didn't want
Does
you.
Cole Hampton count?
You could.
That's
yeah.
a cop out.
That's a cop out answer.
Cole Hampton.
That's a
one of
cop
his teammates
out
at S&T.
answer.
Great teammate.
I would say my favorite.
Whoever you say will bring it on.
The next episode?
Not the next, but like sometime.
Yeah, big pressure here.
I'm gonna say probably Zach Williams. And the reason for that is because I had no idea if I was gonna hate the kid or not, just for the previous.
The bat flip.
You know, I have a lot of respect for people that aren't afraid to like talk a little crap, especially while they're down. I think Kobe Bryant once said that it takes real balls to
Are you
talk.
bringing KB on?
You big Mambo guy?
No, but I do like some of the things he says about mentality, and I think he's right that anyone can talk crap while they're up.
Absolutely.
But it takes some real balls to talk crap while you're down. And, you know, I think Zach Williams is one of those players that you freaking hate him if you're playing against him. But when you're playing with him, it's like, I don't want anyone else on my team ever.
100%.
Yeah, I definitely
And
feel that.
I respect the way that kid plays the game.
Love the kid.
Oh, I hate the kid. I'm just kidding.
Shout out Zach Williams.
Let's go. Let's go check out the stats then.
All right, we'll check out the stats. Box score. Here we go. Well, the Cubs won, so.
Let's start with CV. What did you say?
I said Seiya 1 home run. He didn't have a home run, though.
What about you, Dakota?
Jan Gomes had a homer. I said Bobby Witt 1 stolen base,
Hey,
which Bobby Witt didn't
yeah,
notice.
he played.
I don't know how to look at the.
It should just show up. I think.
Yeah,
All right, it doesn't matter. Budget. Thank you, Dakota Sill, so much for being on the podcast. We really appreciate you, brother.
nothing
Thank you
hit.
for flying out here for no reason.
Yeah, he's going
Yep.
back tonight. Go back tonight.
I'll catch
we
another
cover
flight
all
next week.
dispenses.
We might actually go to Wild Beaver Saloon. So if we have some videos from there of us down in some juice,
We might have some.
If you're listening to this
Great.
tonight, Wild Beaver Saloon.
Absolutely.
be there.
Lock it in.
I
All right,
love
thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.